Duh.
Yeah, I hate hearing that shit from him because I can't tell you how many times I was sitting there waiting on his ass.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is Firearms Friday. Do not kowtow. And I've got Mario with us this morning, and Mario is under the impression that I was going to surprise him with this story about the Antifa protesters opening fire on ICE. But the actual surprise, Mario, is this.
What's that?
Supreme Court upholds bar on guns under domestic violence restraint orders, reports 8-1 ruling in the United States versus Rahimi affirming the prohibiting firearms possession. So there's been a new upholding, a new case. A recent 8-1 emergency order from the U.S. Supreme Court related to a key Second Amendment case. Many observers had expected the court to decline review, but instead it issued an order sending a constitutional challenge back into play. The decision centers on Section 922 G8 of federal law, which prohibits those under domestic violence restraining orders from possessing firearms. It halts the lower court's blocking of that restriction, signaling the court's willingness to reaffirm such laws as constitutionally sound. So the Supreme Court is basically saying that red flag laws are constitutionally tolerable.
Does this mean that Cameron can get his guns back despite beating his wife?
Dude. Okay. Don't. But here's why it bothers me. Now we can talk about.
For the record, Cameron never beat his wife. I'm joking. Okay. Thank you, everyone. All right.
Correct. Goddamn Mario. So the
hottest takes. The hottest.
The two major news channels that completely ignored domestic terror attack on ICE detention facility, MSNBC and CNN, did not devote any on-air coverage to a domestic terror attack on an ICE detention facility in Alvarado, Texas on the 4th of July. I brought this up yesterday. We talked about it a little bit. Timmy Poole mentioned the two attacks. And I mentioned Tim Poole talking about it because in particular, what he said is he went on and said, guys, I screwed up. I dropped the ball on this one because there were multiple articles about this terror attack. He said he mistakenly thought that they were multiple different articles about the same attack. But what it is on the 4th, there were two separate instances where ICE was attacked by Antifa using careful tactics where they created a disturbance outside of the facility and set basically assassins, ambushers nearby. So when ICE came out to deal with the disturbance, Antifa opened fire on them from dug in positions.
Right. Well, it's like Tom Homan recently said. There's been a 700% increase on attacks on ICE agents, in 2025. So what this means is that basically every single day there's an act of stochastic terrorism, committed against an ICE agent. It's just no longer newsworthy, See, that's how the media works. If there's if the same type of violence takes place every single day, and it's not like, an Aryan phenotype white man assaulting various hued brown people, then it's not going to get reported anymore. So that's
well, and basically, so we talk often about how bad the 2020 riots were, and there have been a lot of commentators who have pointed out, well, 2020 was much worse than what we're seeing now. It was just so much more violence. No. There was more back in 2020, right? But it was all random. It was a horde gathers. They're peacefully protesting, and then DNC funded agents provocateur start fucking killing people and setting shit on fire. This This is not random acts of violence, targets of opportunity. Oh, hey, there happens to be a federal building here, and we have Molotov cocktails to throw at it. And even in those cases, even where you've got, okay, we're going to the federal building to throw Molotov cocktails. That's, the fire bombs. Those are bad, but these are directed, targeted, tactically, carefully, tactically orchestrated
Yep.
attacks on specific agents. These are this is the further militarization of the Antifa insurrection.
Yeah, it's do we in a day by day comparison, okay, with 2020, is there more Antifa violence than there was in 2020? I don't know. Okay, I mean,
well, no, there's not. Categorically, there is less. There is less Antifa violence day to day. In particular, because it's happening in specific places. In 2020, it was everywhere, right? Like we've talked about the Chop Chaz stuff, right? The Capitol Hill occupied protest, Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone.
Yeah, we know that.
That's the one that got the most news coverage.
Other than Portland. Other than Portland,
there were 375 of those autonomous zones set up around the country.
Yeah,
they were in every major city in the country. There was one, right? We often talk about how we don't get big protests at places like Georgia and Florida usually because the people are armed. And that's largely true, but we still had autonomous zones set up in Georgia. I haven't looked in on the Stop Cop City protest, but that one was going on until well into last summer, if not still current. Right? So here's where I'm making a connection between these two things. So the Supreme Court has just reaffirmed on a ruling that you can deprive somebody of the Second Amendment right based on domestic abuse. Here's the thing about that, though, and this is going to end up being part of the conversation in the feminism show. When we say domestic abuse in courts in the United States, we're talking about married couples especially, but also unmarried. Domestic cohabitants. You've been dating the same girl for 5-10 years. You're living together. Y'all, I can tell you from experience, from not personal experience, from seeing other people go through it. If that bitch tells the cops you hit her, unless they see her hit you, they believe her.
Yep.
Now, statistically, women are more abusive than men.
Yes,
it's kind of like the car accident thing. Women get in more car accidents. Women are in car accidents more often. Men, when they are in car accidents, the car accidents are more damaging.
Correct.
Right. So women are more frequently abusive. Men are more effectively abusive.
Yep. And also, generally speaking, when men are abusive, okay, in a relationship, when it comes to the man actually physically laying hands in an unkind manner on the woman, generally speaking, there were days upon days of psychological attacks that woman has conducted against that man to compel him to use force, to use violence against her. Okay.
Right. And now, don't take this as me making a defense of beating women, right? This isn't Sean Connery explaining that sometimes you've just told a bitch one too many times. That's not the point. My point here is the legal system, in very much the same way that women are almost automatically awarded custody in a divorce. There are just an absolute plethora of cases of men being labeled legally and for the purposes of disarming them as domestic abusers on no other evidence than the unsupported claim of a woman who says he was abusive.
I think we have this
These
problem.
red flag laws open the door for some, a next door neighbor to say, I heard him shout at his kids, send armed men to raid his home and steal his property. So all of this is always predicated on the idea of safety. We're going to disarm those people who are most dangerous, those people who cannot be trusted with weapons. And somehow we still end up, like I said, there were 2 attacks this week.
Kind of gun at federal agents.
There was
this
a third
this
one
afternoon.
just last night.
Really create.
I wanted to ask you a question if I could.
Was being launched
Please
at the
do.
protesters, and again, it appears a protester fired
Well,
back with that weapon. It looks like he fired at least a couple of times. We have not heard about any agents.
At least a couple of times. He magged them.
Dumbass.
He magged them. He wasn't taking any carefully aimed
This happened
shots.
this afternoon.
But yeah,
No, he's just as likely to hit one of his compatriots.
correct.
Anyway, do you think we have like a definition problem in regards to violent crime in this country? Because it's incredibly frustrating to see people get arrested for like assault. All right, and comparatively speaking, you could be a guy basically socking someone in the face repeatedly, okay, to the point where they're causing like bone damage, okay, in the skull, and then say someone put his hand on someone's face and pushed them away, okay, both getting classified as assault. Are there anyone with some legal background, are there appropriate designations to like parse that out so people don't get convicted of, so someone who committed an actual violent crime or someone who committed a minor incident doesn't get convicted of someone who committed a major crime?
I don't know. I know that the courts are failing consistently on these questions. A judge will issue a restraining order against a man on no more than a woman's say so. No other evidence. And I'm not saying that every claim is a false claim, but our legal system operates as if women, they literally say it, believe all women. They operate as if a woman can never lie. Everything she says is always the truth. And you must always take legal action based on that. We've talked several times, Mario, you remember the chick at DLI that, right? It was when we got a new battalion commander, and the 9th time she claimed that somebody raped her, the BC finally said, now hold on a minute. There's a common denominator here. And what was really going on is this chick was going to hotel parties, and she'd sleep with some dude at the hotel party, and then she'd go and she'd cry rape, right? And a young man's life would be ruined. Right?
To put it more specifically, okay, to add a little more detail here, she would go to hotel parties, okay, which basically it's a bunch of 18 to 23-year-old, okay, kids, all right. Some of them are illegally consuming alcohol, give or whatever, okay.
Right.
But the point is, young people with less wisdom and less discretion, okay, than older adults, right?
And they're just passing each other around.
She would get shit-faced drunk, okay, blackout drunk, and then wake up and like realize she's greasy down there and like someone raped me. You know what I mean? That's what was happening.
Yeah, and after 8 young men had their lives ruined, as in their security clearance stripped and dishonorably discharged from the military, which is akin to be you're basically a felon. Yeah, it's the same as having a felony conviction.
You're competing with Ranjit for a gas station job at that point. Okay?
Yeah, and then finally, the new battalion commander, Colonel Sun. Remember him?
He was all right.
Paul, Bobby.
He was all right.
It
was Korean Hank Hill.
Yeah, he was. The guy was a natural born American citizen to an American father and a Korean mother, and he grew up in a household in America learning Korean with a thick Texas accent. He was one of my favorite speaking practice partners of all time. I used to run with him and speak Korean with him. But he looked at that file hit his desk, and he looked at it and he said, "Now wait a goddamn minute." this little cancerous whore is just gutting my army. She's just rotting my soldiers out from under me, and she's got to go.
That girl ain't right. That girl.
and yeah, the law unreasonably biases itself in favor of precisely that kind of bad actor among women, while at the same time, the law will not look at somebody and say, you voted Democrat, and that means you have a significantly higher incidence of mental illness and propensity to violence. And in this case, we're not talking about propensity to violence. This isn't the Sean Connery, I've already told you twice, now you get a second black eye. This isn't, smack my bitch up. What was that band? Anyway. Prodigy. Yeah, this isn't smack my bitch up Prodigy. This is opening fire on police officers. This is throwing fire bombs at federal buildings, et cetera, et cetera. And there's no maneuver to treat these people in that way, right? And this is not my opinion of what should happen. This is how the law reads. If there's a protest and violence occurs, throwing firebombs, throwing rocks, throwing milkshakes, right? The concrete milkshakes, or opening fire on law enforcement officers.
The nasty ones. You are now in a laser.
You are now
engaged.
Yeah, the laser in the eyes.
Yeah,
right?
That's
the sonic weapons.
100%.
They've been doing shit with sonic weapons lately.
Yeah.
Right. Everybody gets arrested, and everybody's a felon.
What's this Pit Denny saying?
Everybody gets arrested, and everybody's a felon.
No, I would agree. In fact, Tom Homan is headed to Portland today to address the fact that there's been basically concurrent riots outside of the facility every day for the last 2 weeks. Basically, it's not 2020, but in Portland it is 2020. Like
right.
every day. Okay, like I said yesterday.
Yeah. And if you have riots for more than 2 consecutive days around a single facility, that is no longer a riot. There's a word for that.
Insurrection.
That's called siege warfare. Not insurrection. I mean, that is the insurrection conducting siege operations.
Yeah.
Right? And Sergeant Major, no, it's not like J6. J6 lasted for about an hour and a half.
I think he's trolling you.
Oh, no, I understand that, but I need to make the point for the rest of the audience, right? We were told that January 6th was the worst thing that ever happened, threat to our democracy. J6, there were some violent assholes on one side of the building, all incidentally wearing black bloc, surprise, surprise, and then the federal government focused on the opposite side of the building where there was no violence and arrested those people.
I don't want to introduce that kind of trivium to it. Okay, I think the people who went there at J6, I think they were justified to protest. Okay, and I think that I think the fact that a riot occurred was entirely predictable, and the Capitol Police bears equal blame.
Agreed. But more importantly, in the context of comparison here, it went on for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Right, it was a relatively short-lived event, all things considered. And the activities that we're talking about this morning with what Antifa are doing, for one, there was no J6 organization.
Correct.
Right? That was people who wanted Donald Trump to win the election. That's not, hey, we have a flag and a banner and a motto and a secret text thread and social media advertising and organization for our multiple siege-like activities.
Yeah,
all over the country, where we're physically taking command and control of U.S. territory with impunity, and there are no consequences for our bad actions.
we've been dealing with Antifa violence, okay, or the United States for at least 10 years, okay,
Yeah.
or at least in the public perception, in certain parts of the country and nationwide, they've been a known entity for at least 5 years, okay. Numerous acts of vandalism, assault, violence, okay, even murder. The the fact that there is not like a RICO investigation into these people that's pinpointing exactly where the money's coming from, because they do have wealthy backers, all right, just like that death squad that tried to take out an ICE station in Texas that we talked about yesterday. No one shows up basically armed with full kit, okay, brand new kit, without somebody providing them something. You saw those
Right.
people in those images.
Well, somebody's
Those
paying
people
for the
don't have
hotel.
jobs. Those people are
Somebody's
unemployed.
paying for that hotel where they're
Exactly.
operating out of.
It takes logistics to do an operation like that, and logistics are expensive. So someone is financing this, and it appears that the FBI. I mean, God, Jesus, we could talk about the FBI. It appears that the FBI is still stuck in Christopher Wray mode, where Antifa is an idea, or some stupid semantic shit like that. I don't. Does the FBI even take it seriously? I would like to know. I would like Kash Patel to answer a simple question for me. Is there an ongoing criminal investigation into Antifa, the organization? Okay, or not? Like, what are you doing? Is this like a little armed insurrection that you basically want to keep alive because they give the political opposition bad optics, and it's better for you politically if Democrats are allowed to run around in the streets effectively acting like savages so that it improves the Republicans' electoral chances? Is there something like that going on? Okay, because you don't appear to be taking it seriously.
You know what? Since you mentioned that, let's ask.
Oh, no.
Let's just go ahead with.
It was just a massage from a 15-year-old. That's normal.
What, if anything, are y'all doing about this? There we go.
That's right, Bushfire Mind, asking the hard questions. Extreme
Sergeant Major says he thinks you hit the nail exactly. Hit the mark exactly. Yeah, I mean,
sometimes
coming off of Christopher Wray's FBI leadership, let's not forget, what did Christopher Wray say? ICE or Antifa doesn't exist. There's no such thing as an organization called Antifa. It is an ideology at worst.
Yeah, Biden said it too.
And we need to be focused on the real threat, which is white men exist.
White supremacists. Yes.
It's guys, white supremacists vote Democrat. Right? Because here's how that works. They vote for welfare programs. They vote for affirmative action nonsense. They vote for the DEI stuff because what an actual white supremacist believes, and these are going to be the first people to call somebody a white supremacist. What they believe is that because I am white, I am better than everybody who is not white. I am so much better than everybody who is not white that in order for me to be a good and virtuous white person, because all these brown people are so far beneath me, the only way I can be a good and decent white person is by giving to them those things that they're not good enough to earn, that they cannot get on their own because they're inferior, they're beneath me. They're useless little brown people who can't do anything, who don't know how to go to the DMV and get a driver's license. Right? That's what a white supremacist, an actual white supremacist, believes. I am so far above these people that they need my altruism.
Yeah, it's like in ye olden times, okay, when on feast days, okay, the nobility would put on a show, all right, would put on a show of like wandering around the feast, and basically they'd have there's be security, of course, and they'd be handing like bread and bacon to the peasantry, you know what I mean, and
Yeah,
making sure that everybody saw them do it, okay, kind of
yeah,
like
it's Box Day.
par-
It's Boxing Day.
yeah, it's like the parable of the parable of the woman and the two coins, from Jesus, where they were the ones making a show of flaunting their wealth and generosity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. Um, now, what was I gonna say? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so the so wealthy white liberals are the real white supremacists. Yeah, well, they are the NIMBY types. Yes, the
Yeah.
NIMBY white liberals. NIMBY white
No,
liberals.
we've even got
Absolutely.
the Harvard studies that show that, the awfuls, the affluent white female liberals,
Mhm.
they
Well,
they
it's
talk,
worse than that. It's worse
they
than that.
retard
They
they
believe.
retard their speech when they speak to brown people because they believe that they're less intelligent. So they
Yeah.
dumb down their speech. They choose lower complexity synonyms,
Yes.
and
The white liberal
speak slower. Yeah.
awfuls, okay, affluent white female liberals, they view themselves like Khaleesi from Game of Thrones being exalted by the brown people in a palanquin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They,
Woo!
yeah,
Woo!
yeah, exactly. The white liberal, he must protect the little brown peasants, okay, by giving them charity, or better yet, forcing less affluent white people to pay for that charity. All right, and also he must persecute his fellow white man to protect the little brown people from the evil white supremacists. Okay, this is extreme outgroup preference that I like to
Yes.
talk about.
Now, in fairness, in all fairness to those awfuls, those affluent white female liberals who think that the brown people are beneath them and have very low expectations for them and believe that they, for that reason, that those poor pitiful brown people can only survive on white largesse.
Mm.
They do occasionally offer us evidence to support that suspicion. Hey,
As the scorching sun.
that is no.
Well,
You
one more
dropped the
time with
camera.
it. One
Where
more
did
time
you
with
go,
extra.
Mario?
My face is in the way.
Yes, it was. Your
If I
face
hadn't,
was
if I hadn't,
your face was in the way.
yeah, if I hadn't dropped my camera, you wouldn't have seen that excellent shot discipline from that African American scholar.
Okay, so couple things.
That was in Philadelphia this
Where's your
this
gun
past weekend, by
control?
the way.
Where's your gun control, guys? Right?
Yeah.
What happened to your gun control? You know what are the what are the gun laws in Philadelphia?
Oh, they're onerous. So what you saw there was last weekend in Philadelphia. Okay, it was in a terrible neighborhood, obviously. All right, but it's filled with like classically built brownstone, um, what are they called, townhouses, right? I mean, that neighborhood could be beautiful. That neighborhood at one time was beautiful. All right, and now it's basically
Well,
Section 8. Now it's a Section 8 rat hole. But yeah, so this is a common occurrence in urban parts of America, of course, where just a free for all of gun violence, basically people spraying shots at perceived ops, okay, with no discipline whatsoever. So mag dump galore, and all the properties in that area were perforated with those rounds. All right, putting the lives of innocent people and children at risk. It's just ludicrous. But there will be no heavy police action as a result of this. Did you find what you're looking for? Or do you want me to ramble some more?
no, you're good. So Permit required to carry concealed handguns or in vehicles. Open carry is allowed without a permit statewide, except in Philadelphia, where any carry, open or concealed, requires a permit. License to carry firearms applications are handled by the Philly Police Department, with around 20,000 permits issued in 2024 and around 4,600 in early 2025. Strict penalties for unlicensed carry include felony charges up to 7 years in prison and a $15,000 fine. And local laws beyond state limits, like mandatory safe storage, 1 handgun per month limits, or assault weapons bans, have been invalidated due to preemption. So
it's Maryland, basically. It's like Maryland. I lived in Maryland. Okay, where
so you can have a gun, but you have to. Go ahead.
Permission slip from the sheriff. Okay, that's the most outrageous part of that. You have to have permission slip from the sheriff. That's the reason. I saw that on the books. I'm like, you understand? Like, look at my military, where I was in the military, right, for 12 years. California. Let's look at it in terms of owning guns and owning property. Okay.
California,
Texas. No. Okay. Texas. Sure, but I was only there. We were only there for like 8 months. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's no point in setting roots there.
It was a good 8 months.
Yeah. Then
we had a ball in Texas.
It was like that.
Remember that little coffee shop?
Hell yeah. You remember the? I don't want to get you in trouble. You remember the guy who ran it? It was staffed by his daughters.
Yeah.
Whew. My goodness. Talk about the yellow, what is it, the yellow rose of Texas? That.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we much better than the slags you find at Graham Central Station. But she was a who. Anyway, so Texas, not there long enough. Okay, then I was sent to Korea. No guns, no property.
Nope.
Then I got stationed in Hawaii. No guns. No property. Well, property if you're a sucker. And then
I've known more than a few soldiers who were ruined.
Oh,
I mean, just absolutely financially ruined.
What was that
by
stupid
attempting to purchase
name?
property in Hawaii.
What was that chick's name? Her last name sounded like Poinsettia or something. She bought a $500,000 apartment or some shit like that. I remember.
In Hawaii. Oh God, did she?
Yeah, it was like down by Ko'olina. Okay, it was like a beachside.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was like a beachside suite like size apartment. It was like $500,000. She bought it. Anyway,
I remember who you're talking about. I could see her face in my head, and it did sound like poinsettia, but it wasn't quite.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe Finos. So anyway, and then Maryland, right? No guns, and finally, my ex and I were like, we don't own shit. We're not generating any kind of like record of ownership. You know what I mean? Like we gotta buy a place, and it sucks, but Maryland is it. So yeah, we finally got hold of Maryland.
First best place to buy property was Maryland.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you? So in that clip, you'll notice they're using the switches, right? They're going full auto on some Glocks in that. Y'all, the Constitution says shall not be infringed, right? Currently, it is illegal to own a machine gun, a fully automatic weapon, without that FFL stamp. You got to have that special government stamp because the government came in with, automatic weapons and stole from us our rights and then offered to sell them back. That is the state of the law right now. And it's onerous. There should be no restriction. I should be able to own a machine gun, right? I would love to own some machine guns because they're fun to play with. But let's talk about practicality for a second. in the course of domestic situations, self-defense, home defense, defense of property and others, right? There shouldn't be a legitimate, significant use, tactically and strategically speaking, for a fully automatic weapon. Self-defense situation, likelihood of innocent bystanders is high. You're not looking for collateral damage. You're engaged in essentially, the modern equivalent of pistols at dawn, right? You got a bad guy who wants to hurt you, or a group of bad guys want to hurt you. You're not talking about dealing with squad movement tactics. Automatic fire is for destroying material and forcing the emplacement, the covered emplacement of an ambush or enemy unit, right? You use automatic fire for things like laying down cover fire. Now, domestically, I should be able to have that ability. I should be able to have the technical capability to engage to lay down cover fire while my squad shoots, moves, and communicates to vector fire in on an enemy ambush and take them out. Because I should have and I need to have that capability domestically, because the point of the Second Amendment is that the people be armed sufficiently to abolish the government when it becomes destructive to those ends of liberty and prosperity. Now, that said, for general application, until we decide to overthrow the government, not a lot of strategic value in an automatic weapon. They sound fun. They sound scary. Now, these guys, you'll notice there wasn't a whole lot of reporting on the casualties from that incident.
There were probably none. Okay.
Right. Because you're just spray and pray, right?
Exactly. None of those.
Unless you pin somebody up in a corner, line a group up against the wall, you don't generally generate actual casualties with machine gun fire. You generate casualties with carefully aimed fire.
Right. And you create tactical suppression with the machine gun.
Correct.
I know you, Chris. You could grease people with a machine gun. You could snipe people with a 240 Bravo if you needed to. But here's the thing. Here's an underlying theme.
You've actually seen my trick at the range where I sign my name on things with the 240.
Yeah. I only got to do it in the EST or whatever. But I just John Rambo'd it, and I'm like, oh, this is surprisingly effective. Anyway, so there's an underlying theme here, really, between whether it's the domestic violence laws, whether it's definitions and gradations of assault, whether it be gun control, and what it comes down to is like gun control for that in Philadelphia. Like, how do we square that versus the regulations that law-abiding citizens have to deal with, right? And it comes down to really what John Adams said, where our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other, right? And that's what it comes down to. Like, American society does not live up to like the founding promise of this country. Okay,
correct.
We are a fallen nation. Unfortunately, there are pockets of good, of course. There's hope, of course. There's always hope, but things have strayed from that path of liberty that was laid for us in the beginning. You know what I mean? Severely, and diversity did not help in the slightest.
Correct.
So
okay, well, it's getting to be about that time. We need to wrap up the show. Mario, if you can tolerate it, I'm going to try to keep us around for about 10 more minutes. Just because we've still got the safety brief to get through, and I see this cat here named In His Image. I clicked on that name and looked at him. His username is In His Image. Mm-hmm. For in his image made he man, and that comment right there, my algorithm gets me, brother. I'm glad you found us. I hope you hit that subscribe button, and more importantly, I want you to do me a favor. If you like the show and you hit that subscribe button, like button, share, fuck YouTube. Hop over to Rumble. Follow us on Rumble, right? Because tomorrow night we'll be doing the special. We're live every morning at 7:30, every weekday morning at 7:30, and then on Saturday evenings at 2100 we do the deep dive specials, and those are Rumble exclusive. Those are only for premium members.
Yep.
If you're one of the several dozen people right now who are currently watching live on Rumble but have not yet commented in the live chat, I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes while Mario and I do the safety brief to drop a comment. Go ahead and leave a comment. And for each comment that comes from a name I don't recognize in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'll give away one free month. I'll give away one free month, up to 10 freebies.
Speaking of
Rumble Premium membership.
So speaking of comments, why don't we run through a few of these right now? Let's go. Sean Stryker
Real
says,
quick,
Rumble.
Mario, you're signed in, right?
No.
Well, damn it.
Well, I gotta take I have to go into my phone and like figure out what my password was for Rumble.
Okay, don't worry about it.
I can do that. I can do that later. Okay.
I want to get you signed in though, because once you're signed in, you should be able to click on comments and put them up.
Yeah, I know. It's a failure. It's a reoccurring failure since I began with you on this show. That's right, and it hasn't gotten better. Okay.
We're slowly but surely buttressing your adequacy.
Yep. It's a life step. Sean Stryker says, the revolution will not be televised. No, but it will be TikToked. Okay. Moving down here. So Sergeant Major and people in the chat are talking about the pallets of bricks, okay, that are staged at basically riot zones. Yeah, exactly. Someone's paying for that. Okay. Why is the FBI not presented something to the American public like, hey, we're looking into this and we are concerned by this. Okay. Their lack of concern is telling. All right. Hey, Danny says, yes, why the hell aren't they, by that I mean she means illegals, I assume, picked up the moment they are spotted? Call Home Depot. They are now, effectively. That's what's going on in California. That's why people are freaking out. That shooting you saw against ICE agents, that was a farm raid. They're going in and basically snatching farm workers. So that's actually a positive sign, because Trump did appear to be waffling on that one a little bit, if you remember, like 3 weeks ago. So it's good to see that. And I'm okay with a guest worker program, but it's got to be it needs to be airtight. Okay, you can come here, you can pick garlic, take your money, go home. We had this deal for 100 years. Okay, and it worked. So Sergeant Major says, can we trust the system? Of course not. All right. Mullabank
all right,
says,
that's two comments from new names and two giveaways. Unfortunately, the giveaways are always at random, and so y'all, I need you to not just make the comments, but y'all got to take a moment, put your hands together, and pray to the RN Jesus that the dice roll your way.
Craps. Mullabank says, the system is broken enough that people abuse it to ruin other lives. Others see this, and the cycle repeats and spreads. Absolutely. Constitution made for moral and religious people, wholly inadequate to govern any other. 100%. All
Correct.
right. All right. Moving on here. Let's see if we get any little spiciness in here. See, we got Santa Stevens talking about mud sharks. That's great. All right.
Call sign Rectful says, I believe, and call sign Rectful was gifted a free membership. RN Jesus, the odds were in your favor, my friend.
Outstanding. As far as in his image, talking about how the algorithm gets him that led him here, okay, mine certainly does not. I made the mistake of watching one AI generated video 3 nights ago. Okay. Now my feed is literally nothing but AI slop. Okay, I do not know how to make it stop. I am going to pretty much just going to have to go, if I'm on YouTube, I'm going to have to go to my subscriptions and only watch my subscriptions for like a solid week to repair the algorithm, because apparently it thinks I want AI slop edits of movies that I've never heard of. Okay, all right. All right, Sean Stryker, just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as your password. Absolutely, the John Podesta method, top security.
Correct.
Excellent.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well,
and
remember, who was it that had the girlfriend with the Yahoo account?
What?
Damn, I forgot the name. It wasn't Podesta. It was the other. It was General P something.
Like a military individual.
Yeah. So they were leaking secrets. He had the girlfriend he was sleeping with, who was a journalist, and what they did is they had one Yahoo account that they would both log into.
Yeah. That's
so what they would do is they'd go in and they'd write a draft email and then delete it.
Yeah,
and then instead of so that the email doesn't get sent, so it was harder to intercept, they would just log into the same email account. Petraeus, that's it, David Petraeus.
I was going to say
so
that.
They would log into the same email account and just go check the deleted messages.
Yeah, Petraeus. He
Call sign Reckful says, I appreciate it. Thank you. Before y'all go, what's your schedule again? We are every morning at 07:30, every weekday morning, 07:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're over here on the right coast, not the nasty left coast where all the sociopaths are. We're over here where the money happens. And then Saturday evenings at 2100. That's 9 o'clock for all you squishy civilians out there who sleep comfortably in your beds at night because rough men went down range and had a party. And that's so 2100 Eastern Standard Time on Saturday nights. That show tends to go between an hour and a half to 3 hours. Deep dives on various topics. We've covered things like the French Revolution, the history of proto-communism in China, the origin of communism in America. We've done what's the thing with the LSD?
Organized crime in America. All right.
Yep. The Kosher Nostra.
Assassination of JFK.
Yep.
We're gonna do. We got some other stuff coming up. Yeah, basically a lot of it's conspiracies, getting to the heart of conspiracies, or taking a finely tuned lens to historical events that maybe had more significance on the world or on the modern world than you realized. Okay, that's what we're going for. So, yeah. Oh, and we do say that word here. So, that's right. There's a reason we go to Rumble. YouTube cannot handle our freedom of speech on this program. Okay, to put it simply.
I shot pictures of a house day before yesterday, and get there, knock on the door. Guy opens the door. Homeowner's a black guy. I shoot around Georgia. I have a lot of black customers. Whatever. Get inside, and black guy about our age, and he's got Fox News playing on every TV in the house. They're just watching Fox News all over the house. And I couldn't help myself. I said, brother, CNN told me that if you watch Fox News, it makes you a racist. And he looked at me, he said, oh, thank God you're one of us. When they said they were sending a photographer, I thought it was going to be some college boy art fag. And it's like, okay, we're buddies now. And I think he is now one of our new subscribers. So
usually when I see like a white person still watching Fox News, that actually troubles me. Okay, because it's like you should have elevated beyond this now. But if I see black people watching Fox News, I consider that a positive step, because that is my bigotry of low expectations. So it's like, okay, I figured. So you're where we were 10 years ago. That's good. Okay, let's try to accelerate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and try to bring them forward. That'd be a worthy deep dive. Fox News is not your friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could do a deep dive on that. It might be a shorter one. It might only be an hour and a half, but I think it'd be worth doing.
We got to start with some of the. Well, Roger Ailes. Roger Ailes was actually a patriot. Okay, yeah,
Oh yeah.
he liked grabbing hot young things' asses. But I mean, like, look look at that gallery of like Fox News chicks we've seen over the past 20 years. You're telling me some asses ain't getting grabbed? I mean, it's if you're not grabbing asses, like if Bill O'Reilly did not grab any asses in his 20 years there at Fox News, he'd be gay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're going into the weekend, guys.
And that's sexual assault, okay? And that ties us back to the beginning of the imprecision of definitions of crime, okay? Because okay, safety brief, no grabbing asses. Let's go.
No grabbing asses unless you're married to them, or at least you've been on a date or three, right?
Yeah.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll, firearms, fireworks, videotape. No two at the same time. Don't drive drunk. Don't fry bacon naked. We love you. We appreciate you watching today. Don't miss the show tomorrow night at 2100. We're not announcing the topic because it's right now it's one of two that we're about to discuss, and we will see you tomorrow.
F it. We'll do it live. Hey, thanks for giving me Cameron's address yesterday. Don't worry about it. It's not going to be that bad, okay?